we share a lot of commonalities, especially on the political fields. We really believe in multilateralism and the fact that each country can conduct its own foreign policy. We believe in the peaceful resolution of conflict. We believe in that global issue should be solved through negotiation and global solutions. My stay here, you see, it was the first time I came to Nepal, in fact, and so I had no, how could I say, no stereotype, I had no prejudice about what would be Nepal. And I discovered really a very complex and interesting country on every aspect, history, civilization, culture, people, nature. I could really enjoy a huge diversity in every aspect of the country.
निसन्तान सम्बन्धी विभिन्न समस्याको सफल उपचार अब नेपालमै सम्भव छ। वात्सल्य नेचुरल IVF.
My learning is Nepal is said to be a less developed country, you know, but I think we should not stick to that image and to that category. The reality in Nepal is much more complex. As I said, you have in the economic sector, you have very big companies which are, have activities worldwide. You have very big groups which have a lot of business, and they have a lot of great ambition to expand it. And a significant part of the population, more than half of the population, is young, under, let's say, 25. And they are very educated, very smart, most of them. More than half of them, they are female students, for example, or workers. It means that all the stereotypes that we have in terms of Nepal is a less developed country, they should be challenged, you see, and we should consider instead all the potentials that the country has and how it can even challenge countries like France, which stand on some stereotype like this. I'm really amazed here by the quality of the people, and I would say their mind openness and their globalization, let's say, and also I would say by their resilience. That pandemic is completely a new issue, and so every country, every government is coping with that issue how we can. You see, even in the EU, even in France, the French government is doing its best, and there's no magic stick to fix COVID issues. So in a country like Nepal, I said just before it was a less developed country, health infrastructure, they are already facing some difficulty to address all the needs of the people. So when you have such a big pandemic coming, it makes things much more difficult, you see. So I think the government of Nepal is doing as best as it can, you see, and facing structural difficulties, trying to bring in international aid and trying to bring in vaccines in a context where you have big competitions between countries and to get the vaccine, you see. So that's why France is quite proud, you know, to be a part of COVAX facility, even if, and I fairly recognize it, there is still a lot to be done to address Nepal needs in terms of vaccine. But many countries are bringing vaccine to Nepal, obviously China, for example, but also Japan and US through COVAX facility. And I know that in August, a second shipment of vaccine will come directly through COVAX. So it means that now, I mean, it's taking a good pace. hopefully Nepali population which will be much better prepared in case of the third wave, you know. And this is very important, not to have the same situation as we had in the past, and each time try to improve the response and the capacity of the population to face a possible third wave. And I would say that in coming days, as soon as possible, we will bring also some additional equipment, which is, you know, in some Nepali hospital, you have some oxygen plants. And some of these oxygen plants were lacking some spare parts or kits that need to be changed every, let's say, 3 months in order, you know, to produce oxygen for patients. So, in fact, we, the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we ordered these kits of spare parts to the French company, which is one of the world leading company in that specific field. So very soon, so we will have here in Nepal this spare part and kit, and it will allow either to some of these oxygen plants to restart now, because they had to be stopped, either to function in a sustainable way. It means that in 3 months, 6 months, they will have already the kit or the spare parts which are needed, you see. So it means that this hospital in different parts of Nepal, not only in Kathmandu, but also in some provinces, they will have already the kit which enable them to function in a sustainable way in 3 months or 6 months in case that third wave might come, you see. That's very, very important because you have the oxygen battle. This is a part, but normally the hospitals, they have their own oxygen production facility. And this is the most efficient and also the most, how could I say, the capacity, the production capacity is important. So it allows them to face the needs of the patients when you have an increase in the number of patients which would need oxygen supply. You see. So Nepal is a country that everyone knows, you see. If you compare to other countries which are less known, Nepal as such is a brand. Nepal, Kathmandu, Everest, Himalaya, everybody knows, you know, the name and where it is. So I think it should really be utilized more systematically, you see, to promote Nepal as a destination, not only for tourism, but also for investment, really. And I think that Nepal should utilize more all the facility it has to export to, for example, EU countries. And that facility, everything but arms, you know, it has been underutilized. So much more could be done, you know, in that direction. Nepal can promote some product like coffee, tea, essential oils, you see, and many products. The only important point would be to put in place a certification of origin, geographical indication, which would certify for the, let's say, the French customer that this is really a genuine Nepali product. I would say it's not only a matter of big project, big infrastructure project, and, you know, big investment like hydro and everything. It's also in every field that can be more trade and more investment here, and even, let's say, middle scale investments here can be really profitable. Not only administration, also, as I said, private sector is saying, please come, visit us, make your, as I said before, your market assessments, study business opportunities, talk with potential partners, and try to do more business. People, they stick to a vision of Nepal which is sometimes a little bit outdated, a little bit pessimistic, you see. And I think that's what I mentioned previously, which is the dynamism of this country, the creativity, its openness to globalization, the fact that you have here so many talents in every field, people who studied in UK, US, in Europe, and came back here to create some business for any reason. And really you have a lot of talented people. The human resources is a huge asset, and it's not so well known, in fact, you see. And my message to the French companies is to say, please come to Nepal, look how could I say, dynamic is the country, and look how you have a rising, let's say, middle income class. You have part of the population which is very active and globalized, and you have some consumers who have exactly the same needs and the same aspirations than any consumer in the world. So there are a lot of opportunities, so please come, meet potential Nepali partners, make your own market analysis, and please try to develop some partnership and business here in Nepal. I would say, I think that Nepal is really a very impressive country. Mm-hmm. People, they have a lot of talents, as I said, and perhaps much more than the Nepali people believe they have. So I think it's very important to be aware of it and to be proud of it, and to take stock of it and use it, to take the best part of the best share of the globalization, you see, in every field. Yeah.